Good day, everyone. This is the time when the weather is very hot. I mean very extreme. So as a farmer, you don't need to start panicking or start bombarding your chickens with antibiotics simply because you are having mortality on the farm, or simply because you are having low productivity in the farm. I'm going to be walking you through some of the things that you can do to keep your birds healthy at this time. When you come to the farm like what we have here right now, you can see the sun is very extreme, very extreme, and the birds are already panting. First thing you want to do for your birds is to ensure that you always give your birds electrolytes, because by doing this they are losing electrolytes, and if you don't take any action about it, you start having mortalities in the farm. So I'm going to be telling you some of the tricks that we do during this time, especially for those that are operating in deep litter system. For the cage system, we have different methods which you can apply to ensure that your birds are safe. But for the deep litter, just like my own, there's just simple things that you need to do so that your birds will be fine. So I'll start by breaking this ice into bits, because we'll be giving them to drink and at the same time spraying on them. This helps a lot to regulate their body temperature. So I'll go in with some of the ice into the sprayer that we have here. So let's ensure I put the ones that at least one. Okay. So this little one. So when you are giving your birds cold water to drink, ensure that it is not too cold. Let it be a bit colder than the normal room temperature that we have, so that you don't end up introducing CID to your chicken. So ensure that the water is cold but not too cold. So I'll add water and then give to them. Okay. So I have the water now. Come close. Have the water. I'll allow the ice to melt, to defrost before I give them to drink. You can see the water is already cold, but not too chill, just the way I like it. So I'll take this one out because the water is just the way I want. If I leave this one, it will be too much. So I'll be giving these ones, I'll give these ones half of this bucket. This is 20 liters, so I'll give 10 liters here, 10 liters. So before the water becomes hot, they must have been done drinking the water. So we don't want to give them too much so that we don't end up wasting water that we know that when once it gets hot, they wouldn't take it. So watch how they wash this water. Excuse. So okay. So while you do this, it helps reduce their body temperature. So one other thing that you want to avoid during the extreme hot weather is to ensure that you give them feed as early in the morning. Then when the weather becomes hot, you try as much as possible not to feed them. We feed them later in the day when the sun sets. Why we do that is to ensure or to make sure that the process of digestion, it brings more heat to the chicken's body. So by the time we take food off from them, you will notice that it helps reduce the amount of heat they ordinarily would be feeling. So during the extreme hot weather, just ensure that you do not give your birds food. Try as much as possible to give them food very in the morning, and give them reasonable amount that they will be able to consume before 10 or before the sun rises. So by this time, this is like 2. The chicken does not have food at all, not even single one. We would not allow that, because that will increase even their body temperature because of the process of digestion. So when we will come back, we only come back to give them food at 5 or let's say 6 in the evening, when the sun must have already gone down. So now I'm giving them half. That's half of this is 10 liters. So I just will giving them 10 liters. Take the other one there. Give those ones. Because of the heat, see the way they are clustered, see the way they are also panting. So the weather is at 45 degrees Celsius. So you can see during this time you will hardly see them scattered all over. They'll just be in one place. I'm sure because of the trees that we have here. This place is a lot more colder than the other part of the pen. So during this time they will look for a particular place that they can get enough, as much ventilation as possible. So what I'll be doing next, after giving them water, you can see the way they are taking it. This will help greatly in regulating their body temperature, even though it will not completely correct what their body temperature is supposed to be, but at least it will go a long way to ensure that it's a bit regulated. So next I will be spraying them. And it's also good to, let's assume we are supposed to take out their litter every 1 month during the heat, because we know their poop generates more heat in the chicken coop. So it's best if you take out their poop per litter every 2 weeks, so that can also help in reducing the amount of heat that will be in the chicken coop. So now I've added water to the ice that we have here. I'll just wait a bit so that the ice can defrost. And once that is done, I'll go in and then I'll spray them. So while I was talking about this one, I remember I mentioned about the cage system. For those of you that has cage system, there's a different method in spraying your beds. There's what we call a sprinkler. If you want to help your birds to regulate body temperature during this time of extreme heat, you can as well go it what we call the sprinkler, so that when the sun is out, you can sprinkle your birds some water. That you don't even need ice to do that. The water that comes out of it is already cold, so you can do that to help your birds stay active, to help your birds stay strong during this period. So I'm waiting for the ice that is inside here to defrost. So the water has defrozen. I'll be going in now to spray them. But this one, the water has to be very cold, at least colder than what we gave them to drink, because you know these ones, they are our feathered friends, so they need a lot of water and a lot of chilled water to get into their main body. Anytime I come in with this finger, they always get scared. But this is what has actually been helping them. You ensure that the water touches their body like this. So make sure you also do this. Let the water touches all the edges where you will know that will retain heat most of the time. So this is the best way to protect your bed during you can see this one is already down because of the heat. You can see. So by the time you do this, it helps the bed. The weather is very hot. So when you don't do this, you will start having mortality and start having issue on your farm. So ensure that every time there's always someone in the farm that even if you are not there, there's someone that's readily available to do this. And then by the time you do this, you will see that you don't have that serious mortality that people experience during the hot weather season. So, the water is very cold. I can feel it. Okay. So next, I'll take it to the other place. So I'm done with there. Let's spray this one. Oh. I'm back again. Unlike the first time that we started this video, you notice that they were a bit clustered, but now some of them are even looking for feed, but we are not going to give them feed now until, like I said earlier, until 4, 5, 6, when the weather is a bit colder than what we have right now. So this is like 3, we'll wait till 4, 5 or 6 depending on how cold or chill the weather gets. So in summary, I said to reduce chicken mortality during this hot season, you need to prioritize keeping your birds cool and hydrated by providing fresh, cool water, frequently using vitamins with electrolytes and vitamin C. You also need to adjust feeding time to early in the morning or late evening, and then adjusting the coop ventilation. This is the time where so many farmers find it challenging to cope with poultry farming, especially when they do not know what to do. So by doing this, you will adjust or limit the level of mortality you have in the farm. So mortality is expected, but to a very low percentage, not the one that will cost you hundreds and thousands of naira. So you need to do this all the time, especially this season, so that your birds can be protected, so that at the same time you will reduce mortality and the production at the farm will not drop. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you've learned something from this video. Until next time, when I bring more poultry inspiring content your way. Bye.